This is where we share channel topic, e.g., biblical knowledge, hidden truths, historical analysis. Let's explore fascinating and meaningful insights in every video.
What if I told you that a banned book reveals visions of angelic realms, prophecies about the Messiah, and a cosmic battle between good and evil, all hidden from most Christian Bibles? Today, on Deep Bible Stories, we're diving into the Ascension of Isaiah, an apocalyptic text from the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible that takes us on a mystical journey through the seven heavens and uncovers secrets about the Messiah and the spiritual realms you've likely never heard of. This book is packed with heavenly visions, supernatural encounters, and prophecies that foretell the birth of Christ and his ultimate victory over Satan. It's no wonder that this book was excluded from many Christian Bibles. Its mystical content and prophetic depth were seen as too controversial by early church leaders. But why was this book banned? And what secrets did they want to keep hidden? Stay with us as we uncover Isaiah's journey through the seven layers of heaven, his vision of angelic hierarchies, and the divine battle between God's forces and Satan. By the end of this video, you'll see why this book, preserved in the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, offers revelations that could completely change the way you see biblical prophecy. And remember, if you want us to take a deeper dive into any part of this book, like the mysteries of the seven heavens or the cosmic battle, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment below. We could dedicate an entire video to just one of these incredible visions if you'd like. Also, if you're interested in more banned books from the Ethiopian Bible, check out our previous videos on the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, and many others. We've got all the links in the description, so be sure to explore the full series on Deep Bible Stories. Now, let's jump into the Ascension of Isaiah, a journey through heavenly realms, visions of angelic armies, and prophecies that reveal the coming of the Messiah and the final triumph of God's kingdom. Imagine being taken on a journey through seven layers of heaven, each more glorious than the last. That's exactly what happens in the Ascension of Isaiah. This book takes us beyond the earthly realm, giving us a rare glimpse into the spiritual hierarchy of the universe, where angels, archangels, and seraphim serve the Almighty God. Isaiah's journey begins in the first heaven, where he encounters angels who govern the stars, the sun, and the moon. These celestial beings are tasked with ensuring the cosmic order, making sure that the movements of the heavens follow God's divine plan. The book of Genesis touches on this idea when God creates the sun, moon, and stars as signs for seasons, Genesis 1:14. But in the Ascension of Isaiah, we see heavenly beings actively guiding these celestial bodies. As Isaiah ascends higher, moving through each heaven, the glory and majesty he encounters intensify. In the second and third heavens, he sees more angelic hosts, some of whom govern both the spiritual and physical realms. These angels are messengers of God's will, much like the ones we see throughout the Bible, such as the angel Gabriel, who brings messages to Daniel and Mary in the canonical texts. But it's when Isaiah reaches the fourth heaven that things take a darker turn. Here, he witnesses the fallen angels, those who rebelled against God and were cast out of the higher realms. They are bound and waiting for the final judgment. This glimpse into the cosmic battle between good and evil aligns with the Book of Enoch, where the Watchers, a group of rebellious angels, are also imprisoned for defying God's command. The Ascension of Isaiah gives us a deeper look into this spiritual warfare, reminding us of the ongoing struggle between Satan and God's forces, something the Apostle Paul refers to when he talks about the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms, Ephesians 6:12. In the fifth and sixth heavens, Isaiah is overwhelmed by the sight of pure and sinless angels, beings who have never descended to earth. These realms are filled with praise and worship, where the angels sing continually before the throne of God. Isaiah sees archangels and angels of a higher order who serve in the direct presence of God and execute his will without ever being tainted by the struggles of the material world. But it's in the seventh heaven that Isaiah reaches the pinnacle of his journey. Here he witnesses the throne of God, surrounded by the highest order of angels, the seraphim and cherubim, who cry out, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. This image recalls Isaiah's vision in the canonical Bible, Isaiah 6:1-3, where he sees the Lord sitting on a throne with the seraphim surrounding him. The Ascension of Isaiah expands on this, offering even more vivid details about the heavenly court and the radiance of God's glory. While in the seventh heaven, Isaiah receives a prophecy about the coming of the Messiah. In his vision, Isaiah sees the Son of God descend from the highest heaven, passing through each of the 7 layers. As he moves closer to earth, he takes on the appearance of a human, the very form in which he would be born of a virgin and live among mankind. This prophecy aligns with the New Testament teachings on the incarnation of Christ, God becoming flesh to redeem humanity, John 1:14. But the ascension of Isaiah gives us a mystical glimpse of how that transformation takes place in the heavenly realms. The Son of God is described as moving from the pure light of the 7th heaven to the lower, darker realms, where he would take on human form, face Satan's temptations, and ultimately bring salvation to mankind. Isaiah sees that the Messiah's descent is part of God's divine plan to defeat Satan and the forces of darkness. This prophecy prefigures the gospel story, where Jesus, though fully divine, humbles himself to become human, face suffering, and rise again in victory over death. It's a cosmic battle that begins long before Christ's earthly ministry, and one that is revealed in vivid detail in the ascension of Isaiah. Isaiah's ascent through the 7 heavens reveals a structure to the spiritual world that most of us have never encountered before. The clear separation of each heaven, the role of the angels, and the vision of the Messiah descending from the heights of heaven, all provide a profound insight into the spiritual realities beyond what we see on earth. This heavenly hierarchy and cosmic conflict are hinted at in several books of the Bible, but in the ascension of Isaiah, these mysteries are laid bare in ways that challenge our understanding of heaven, angels, and the battle between good and evil. The book brings together ideas from texts like Daniel, Revelation, and Enoch, but it pushes the boundaries even further, showing us the heavenly realms where God's plan for salvation unfolds. What do you think of Isaiah's journey through the 7 heavens? Do you believe there's more to heaven and spiritual realms than what we see in the canonical Bible? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're fascinated by this heavenly journey, be sure to like this video and share it with friends. We could even dive deeper into the 7 heavens in a future video if that's something you'd love to explore more. As Isaiah ascended to the 4th heaven, he witnessed a dark and sobering reality. The fallen angels who had rebelled against God, now bound and awaiting their final judgment. These angels, led by Satan, had once been part of the divine order, but chose to defy God's authority. Now they are held in chains, living reminders of the consequences of rebellion. This idea of fallen angels is something we see across various banned books of the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible. The book of Enoch, for example, delves into the story of the Watchers, angels who descended to earth, mated with human women, and created the Nephilim, leading to God's judgment in the form of the Great Flood. Similarly, the ascension of Isaiah emphasizes that these angels, along with Satan, will face their ultimate defeat when God's plan comes to completion. Satan's rebellion is central to this cosmic struggle. According to the ascension of Isaiah, Satan was cast out of the higher heavens because of his desire to exalt himself above God, much like the depiction we see in Isaiah 14:12-15, where Lucifer, Satan, is described as having fallen from heaven due to his pride. This battle for power and authority is what drives Satan's ongoing efforts to disrupt God's plan of salvation. Isaiah's vision highlights that Satan and his followers are not just active on earth, but they operate within the spiritual realms, constantly attempting to hinder God's purposes. This aligns with the New Testament's depiction of spiritual warfare in Ephesians 6:12, where the Apostle Paul warns that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Throughout Isaiah's journey, he encounters various orders of angels, each with specific roles in the heavenly hierarchy. As he moves through the heavens, he sees the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, who lead the charge against Satan's forces. These angels are depicted as warriors, standing guard against the influence of Satan and his demons, ensuring that God's will prevails in the universe. In 1st Enoch, Michael is similarly portrayed as a key figure in the war against evil, and the ascension of Isaiah strengthens this idea of archangels as guardians and enforcers of God's justice. Michael is especially important in both texts as the angel who battles Satan and will eventually cast him down in the final judgment. This echoes the same imagery we see in the book of Daniel, Daniel 10:13-21, and Revelation 12:7, where Michael and his angels wage war against the powers of darkness. But beyond the archangels, Isaiah also witnesses the lower-ranking angels, who are responsible for governing the stars, planets, and even elements of nature. These celestial beings work tirelessly to keep the cosmic order, preventing the chaos that Satan and his fallen angels seek to unleash on both heaven and earth. Isaiah's vision of these angels reinforces the idea that God's forces are constantly at work, maintaining the harmony of creation and pushing back against the forces of darkness. One of the most striking elements of the ascension of Isaiah is the prophecy of Satan's defeat. As Isaiah ascends to the seventh heaven, he is given a glimpse of the final battle, where the Son of God descends from the highest heaven to earth, ultimately defeating Satan and his forces. This victory is not just a physical triumph, but a spiritual one, marking the end of Satan's influence over humanity. This vision prefigures the gospel message of Jesus Christ, who came to earth to destroy the works of the devil. 1 John 3:8. The ascension of Isaiah connects this cosmic conflict with the incarnation of Christ, showing that the birth of the Messiah was part of a much larger divine plan to reclaim both heaven and earth from the powers of darkness. It's a battle that begins in the heavenly realms and culminates with Christ's death and resurrection, which seals Satan's fate. In this text, the Messiah's descent through the seven heavens is not only a sign of his humility, but also a direct challenge to Satan's claim over the lower realms. As he descends, the angelic hosts sing praises, while Satan and his demons tremble in fear, knowing that their time is short. This vivid depiction of the cosmic battle echoes the final showdown described in Revelation, where Christ returns in glory to judge the living and the dead, casting Satan into the lake of fire. Revelation 20 verse 10. The ascension of Isaiah offers a dramatic and vivid portrayal of the cosmic struggle that mirrors the teachings of the canonical Bible. It reminds us that while we may not see this battle unfolding with our physical eyes, the spiritual warfare is very real. Isaiah's vision reveals that this battle has been raging since the dawn of creation, with Satan attempting to derail God's plan for humanity at every turn. But it also reminds us that God's victory is assured. He has sent his Son to defeat the powers of darkness, and the forces of goodwill ultimately prevail. For believers, this story serves as a powerful reminder that we are part of a much larger spiritual conflict. Every day, our actions, our faith, and our prayers are part of this cosmic battle. Just as Isaiah witnessed the angels at war in the heavens, we are called to put on the armor of God and stand firm in our faith. Ephesians 6:13. The ascension of Isaiah gives us a powerful glimpse into this unseen world, showing that the forces of good and evil are constantly at odds, and our role is to stay faithful and trust in God's ultimate victory. Isaiah's vision of the Messiah's descent is breathtaking in both its detail and meaning. He sees the Son of God surrounded by seraphim and cherubim, seated in glory upon his heavenly throne in the seventh heaven. But instead of remaining in the celestial realms, the Messiah begins his journey downwards, moving through each of the seven heavens and gradually taking on more human appearance with each level. This part of Isaiah's vision is unique to the ascension of Isaiah and provides a mystical dimension to the gospel story. It portrays the incarnation as not merely an earthly event, but as a divine descent from the heights of heaven to the depths of the material world. The Son of God leaves behind the radiance of his divinity to take on flesh, a journey that culminates in his birth through the Virgin Mary. This concept is reflected in the New Testament, particularly in Philippians 2:6-8, where the Apostle Paul speaks of Christ emptying himself and taking on the form of a servant, humbling himself to the point of death on the cross. The Ascension of Isaiah expands on this idea, showing the stages of humility as the Messiah descends through the heavens, each step a deliberate choice to bring salvation to humanity. As the Messiah descends, something striking happens. Satan and his angels tremble in fear. They recognize that the arrival of the Son of God spells the end of their dominion over the lower realms. This part of the vision emphasizes the spiritual conflict that was raging even before the birth of Christ. Satan, aware of the divine plan, knows that the Messiah's mission will ultimately lead to his defeat and the redemption of mankind. The fear of Satan is something that aligns with other biblical texts. In Matthew 8:29, for example, we see the demons cry out to Jesus saying, "What do you want with the Son of God? Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" The demons' awareness of Jesus' power and authority parallels the fear seen in the Ascension of Isaiah, a recognition that their time is short, and the Messiah's descent signals their impending judgment. This section of the Ascension of Isaiah also offers a deeper understanding of the cosmic significance of Christ's incarnation. It wasn't just a human event. It was a cosmic turning point where Satan's grip on the world would be broken and the plan for salvation would be set into motion. The descent of the Messiah is depicted as a divine invasion into enemy territory, with Satan powerless to stop what is about to unfold. One of the most powerful aspects of this prophecy is the way the Messiah's descent emphasizes his humility. As he moves through each of the seven heavens, he takes on more and more of humanity's limitations. By the time he reaches Earth, he is fully human, subject to pain, suffering, and death. The Ascension of Isaiah highlights that the Messiah's suffering was part of a larger divine plan. His humility was not a sign of weakness, but of strength, a willingness to endure the greatest possible suffering in order to bring salvation to humanity. This is the gospel message at its core, echoed throughout the New Testament. The Son of God, who, though he was eternal and divine, chose to suffer and die so that humanity might be saved. Hebrews 2:9. This profound vision of humility connects directly to the passion of Christ. In the Gospels, we see Jesus humiliated, mocked, and crucified, but through it all he remains the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. John 1:29. Isaiah's prophecy in this banned text offers a cosmic perspective on this suffering, showing that it was not just a human event, but a divine act that reverberated through the heavens. Isaiah's vision doesn't end with the Messiah's descent into the world. After seeing the Son of God take on human form and face suffering, Isaiah is shown the ultimate victory, the Messiah's resurrection and his return to the heavenly realms in triumph. Just as he descended through the seven heavens, he now ascends, reclaiming his throne and defeating Satan once and for all. This part of the vision mirrors the New Testament account of Jesus' resurrection and ascension, where he conquers sin, death, and Satan's power. In Revelation 1:18, Christ says, "I am the living one. I was dead, and now look, I'm alive forever and ever, and I hold the keys of death and Hades." The Ascension of Isaiah gives us a mystical glimpse of this victory, showing that Christ's mission was not just to redeem humanity, but to bring about the defeat of Satan and the restoration of divine order in the heavens. Through this prophecy, we are reminded of the hope of resurrection. The Messiah's triumph over death is the promise that we too will be raised with him, a theme that resonates throughout the Bible, 1 Corinthians 15:20-22. Isaiah's vision emphasizes that the victory of Christ is cosmic, covering all realms, both heavenly and earthly. The Ascension of Isaiah gives us a rich and mystical view of the Incarnation and the Messiah's mission. This prophecy reveals not just the birth of Christ, but his descent through the spiritual realms, the fear of Satan, and his ultimate victory over death. It's a story that extends beyond earth, showing that the battle for humanity's salvation was waged in the heavens as well as on the cross. This deeper, more mystical perspective offers an incredible insight into the cosmic importance of the gospel message. The Son of God didn't just come to save the world. He came to reclaim the heavens, defeat Satan, and restore God's divine order. What do you think of Isaiah's prophecy of the Messiah's descent? Does this vision of cosmic humility and victory change the way you think about the incarnation? Let us know in the comments below. What did you think of the ascension of Isaiah? Did the heavenly journey and the prophecy of the Messiah's descent change your understanding of spiritual warfare and Christ's mission? Let us know in the comments below. If this video opened your eyes to the cosmic battle behind the scenes of the gospel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Deep Bible Stories. We'd love to dive even deeper into topics like the angelic hierarchies or the spiritual warfare depicted in this and other banned books. Also, if you haven't yet explored the other videos in our banned book series, check out the links in the description. We've already covered the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, and more. Stay tuned for more insights into the hidden texts of the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, right here on Deep Bible Stories.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Your support helps the channel grow and brings more exciting insights to you. Thank you for watching.